Welcome back to the channel MDP Coins everyone, to the channel where coins are more than just change in your pocket, they are hidden treasures. If you love rare coins, hidden gems, and the thrill of valuable finds, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive deep into one of the most shocking and exciting pennies of the modern era, the 1977 Lincoln cent. Could a 1-cent coin really be worth as much as $8,500? Stick around, because today, we're revealing everything you need to know. Scene transition, vintage footage of 1977 America. Narrator, let's rewind the clock back to 1977. America was buzzing with change. Star Wars had just exploded into theaters. Gasoline was under $1. And in the world of coinage, millions of Lincoln cents were being struck at mints across the country, including the Denver Mint, indicated by that small but powerful letter D stamped right beneath the date on the coin. The Lincoln cent, bearing the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, was no stranger to Americans. Since 1909, it had been the heart of everyday transactions. But not all pennies are created equal, and certainly not the 1977 Lincoln cent. At first glance, the 1977 penny seems like just another piece of copper and zinc. But hidden among the millions are a few examples that make collectors' hearts race. Thanks to exceptional minting errors, pristine conditions, and strong demand from serious collectors, certain specimens of the 1977 Lincoln cent can fetch unbelievable prices, up to $8,500 in the open market. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly makes this little coin so valuable? Let's break it down first. Let's talk about condition. Coins are graded on a scale called the Sheldon scale, from 1 to 70. The closer to 70, the more flawless the coin is considered. A 1977 Lincoln cent that is graded MS 67 or higher, mint state, almost perfect, is incredibly rare. Only a handful have ever been certified at such a high grade. These top condition coins often show sharp details, a full original red color, no scratches, and an eye-popping luster. In auctions, these coins cause bidding wars, with collectors willing to pay thousands to secure a gem. Next up, we have minting errors and varieties. Errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks add incredible value to coins. Although rare for the 1977 Lincoln cent, some slight doubling in RPMs, repunched mint marks, have been discovered, making those specific coins even more desirable. Another secret: strike quality. Coins that were struck early with fresh dies tend to have sharper, more defined details. These early strikes are simply better looking and much rarer. And let's not forget the historical significance. The motto, "In God We Trust," atop the Lincoln cent carries a deep emotional resonance with collectors. In eras of national change and uncertainty, coins bearing this phrase often become symbolic, making pristine examples even more sought after. So how has the market reacted to these special coins? Over the last decade, the demand for high-grade 1977 Lincoln cents has exploded. Auction records show coins graded MS 67 red, the top tier, commanding anywhere between $4,000 and $8,500, depending on eye appeal and demand. It is important to note, coins graded a bit lower, say MS 65 or MS 66, are still very collectible and can sell for impressive amounts, often ranging from $50 up to several $100s. And if you happen to have a cent with a visible error, even better. Those rarities can double or triple its value instantly. For example, in 2021, a stunning 1977 Lincoln cent graded MS 67 red by PCGS hammered at auction for over $8,000. This result sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, reminding everyone that pocket change still holds hidden treasures. Now, before you start checking every 1977 penny you have stashed away, here's what you need to know. First, condition is king. If your penny shows heavy wear, nicks, or discoloration, it's probably worth face value. But if you see a glossy red penny with sharp features, no visible scratches, and full details, it's definitely worth sending in for professional grading. Second, always check for errors. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the mint mark and lettering carefully. Slight doubling or other oddities can skyrocket a coin's value. And finally, stay informed. The coin market is always evolving. New discoveries, higher auction records, and increasing collector interest can change values rapidly. Following trusted coin publications, attending auctions, and joining numismatic forums can keep you ahead of the game. Imagine finding a small piece of history worth thousands of dollars tucked away in your old coin jar. It's not just a dream, it happens every day to collectors, hobbyists, and even lucky beginners. The 1977 Lincoln cent proves that even modern coins, when preserved perfectly, can achieve legendary status. So, next time you're sorting through your spare change, remember that ordinary-looking penny could be a golden ticket. Keep your eyes sharp, your coins clean, and your spirit adventurous. If you enjoyed today's deep dive into the world of valuable coins, smash that like button, share this video with fellow collectors, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing discoveries. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a future treasure hunt. If you are passionate about rare coins, hidden treasures, and valuable collectibles that could be sitting right inside your piggy bank, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we are diving deep into a fascinating story about a small piece of copper that could change your life. Yes, we are talking about the 1985 1-cent coin, the humble penny, that, under the right conditions, could be worth an eye-watering $321,000 on the collector's market today. That's right, $321,000 for a single cent. How is this possible? Why are some 1985 pennies so valuable? And what should you be looking for if you have a few old coins lying around at home? Stick with me as we break down everything you need to know. History of the 1985 1-cent coin. Let's start with a little background. The year was 1985. Ronald Reagan was President of the United States, the economy was booming, and the U.S. Mint was busily producing millions of pennies for circulation. The 1985 Lincoln cent continued the design tradition that started back in 1909, featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The motto "In God We Trust" is proudly stamped above Lincoln's head, and liberty sits to the left. It was meant to be an everyday coin, a workhorse of commerce, something you might find dropped under a vending machine or forgotten in an old jacket pocket. But not all 1985 pennies were created equal. Why is the 1985 penny so valuable? You might be wondering, if millions were made, how could a single penny be worth over $300,000? Well, the answer lies in rarity, condition, and something collectors call mint errors. Some 1985 pennies were struck using experimental metal compositions or experienced rare minting mistakes that make them incredibly desirable today. Other factors include doubling in the text or imagery, known as a double die error, or off-center strikes where the coin looks shifted. There are also rare high-grade specimens, coins that have survived nearly 40 years without a single scratch, maintaining a perfect mint state. Collectors pay top dollar for coins that are graded MS68 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. A regular worn 1985 penny might only be worth 1 cent or maybe a few dollars. But a perfectly preserved error coin or a top-graded piece. That's where the real treasure lies. Incredible real-life sale. To give you an idea of how valuable these coins can be, let's talk about a recent sale that shook the collectors community. In a high-profile auction, a rare 1985 1-cent coin, featuring a stunningly rare mint error combined with a flawless mint condition, was sold for an astonishing $321,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. One lucky collector turned a coin worth a single cent into a life-changing fortune. Key features to look for in your pennies. Now, I know what you're thinking. What exactly should I look for in my own collection? Let me break it down simply. First, check the condition. A coin with no visible scratches, dings, or discoloration is a good start. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the tiny details. Second, look for doubling on the date, the words "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." If you notice what looks like a shadow or a second set of letters, you might have a double die error. Third, examine the strike. Coins that were stamped off-center or show missing elements are extremely valuable. And lastly, check the weight. Most 1985 pennies should weigh about 2.5 grams because they were made mostly from zinc coated with copper. If yours weighs closer to 3.1 grams, it might be made of solid copper, and that could make it much rarer. Professional grading and authentication. If you believe you have a special 1985 penny, the next step is professional grading. Do not clean your coin. Cleaning it can actually reduce its value dramatically. Instead, Send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Having your coin officially graded will give it credibility in the market and dramatically increase the price collectors are willing to pay. Market trends and future value. The market for rare coins has been growing steadily, with new collectors entering the scene every year. As inflation rises and economic uncertainties continue, many investors are turning to tangible assets like rare coins. That means the value of high-grade, rare 1985 pennies could continue to climb even higher in the future. Experts predict that coins like these will only become more sought after as they age and fewer perfect examples remain. Closing, call to action. So the next time you find yourself digging through your change jar or cleaning out an old drawer, keep your eyes peeled for those little copper treasures. You might just be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new today, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin stories, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Have you ever found a rare coin? Do you think you might have a valuable 1985 penny at home? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy treasure hunting, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coins, collectibles, and hidden treasures that could be sitting right inside your pocket. Today, we are about to explore one incredible piece of American numismatic history. A small copper coin that is commanding surprisingly high prices in the market. We are talking about none other than the 1986 1-cent, In God We Trust, coin, a coin that has shocked collectors by being valued at an astonishing $1.2 thousand or $1,200 today. You heard that right. A simple penny, once casually dropped into change jars, is now sought after by collectors and investors alike for its rarity, historical significance, and pristine condition. So make sure you stick with us until the end, because you might just find that you have one of these little treasures lying around. Scene transition, zoom into a high-definition image of the 1986 Lincoln cent. Narrator. First, let's talk about the history behind the 1986 1-cent coin. The 1986 Lincoln cent is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series, which was minted from 1959 to 2008. Designed by Frank Gasparro, the reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, while the obverse proudly displays the famous bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design first introduced in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday. Now, the year 1986 was not an especially limited production year for the Lincoln cent. In fact, millions upon millions were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mint. However, certain 1986 pennies, especially those in mint state condition, those with rare errors, and those with extremely high grades, would have pushed the value into the thousands of dollars. Scene transition, visual of coin grading scale, focusing on MS67 and higher. Narrator. So what exactly makes a 1986 penny worth over $1,000? It comes down to three critical factors. First, condition. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC that earn grades of MS67, MS68, or even higher are exceptionally rare. To achieve this, a coin must have zero to nearly invisible contact marks, a full sharp strike, and beautiful luster. Second, errors and varieties. Some 1986 cents feature unique minting errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and cuts, raised areas on the coin caused by die breaks. Collectors pay a hefty premium for these mistakes, especially if the error is dramatic and the coin remains in high condition. Third, eye appeal and registry sets. Coin collectors who build registry sets, competitive collections graded and ranked, need the absolute best examples. If a 1986 penny shows exceptional color, strike, and visual beauty, it becomes highly desirable for these sets, driving the market price even higher. Scene transition, footage of an auction room with coins being sold for high prices. Narrator. Let's get into some real numbers. A 1986 Lincoln cent graded MS68 read by PCGS sold recently for $1,200 at a major online auction. That's right. A single penny, originally minted for just 1 cent, now valued at 1,200 times its face value. Even coins graded at MS67 can fetch anywhere from $200 to $400, depending on the auction and demand. Another thing to keep in mind is population reports. Only a handful of 1986 pennies have survived in such immaculate condition. For instance, PCGS reports fewer than 20 examples of the 1986 penny in MS68 red condition, making them ultra-scarce and highly sought after. Scene transition, side-by-side images of worn 1986 cents versus mint state coins. Narrator, you might be wondering, do all 1986 pennies have this incredible value? The truth is, no. If your 1986 penny shows signs of heavy circulation, scratches, dullness, or wear, its value is usually just face value. But, and this is important, if you find one that is bright, lustrous, and looks brand new even after all these years, you should absolutely consider sending it for professional grading. The small investment could turn into a major profit. Seeing transition, tips for identifying valuable coins. Narrator, here are some quick tips for identifying a potentially valuable 1986 1-cent coin. Look for coins with no scratches, nicks, or blemishes. Check for strong, sharp details, especially on Lincoln's beard, hair, and the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Search for unusual errors like doubling, off-centering, or die cracks. If you suspect you have a high-grade example, consult with a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. Scene, slow pan across coin collecting. Tools, magnifying glass, gloves, coin holders. Narrator, now let's talk about the current market trends. Coin collecting has seen a major resurgence in the last few years, with the rise of online auctions, rare coin marketplaces, and collector communities. Demand for ultra-high-grade coins has never been stronger, particularly with small denomination coins like pennies. Many collectors see these as an accessible way to get into rare coin collecting without spending thousands upfront, although, as we see today, a penny can quickly turn into a serious investment. In fact, experts predict that as fewer pristine 1986 pennies remain, prices for high-grade examples will only continue to climb over the next decade. Supply is finite, and once a coin gets into a permanent collection, it rarely re-enters the market. This scarcity fuels rising values year after year. Closing scene, montage of rare coins, collectors smiling, auctions closing with sold signs. Narrator, so there you have it, the humble 1986 1-cent, in God we trust, coin. A tiny piece of copper that carries a big story. From its roots in American history to its place in today's thriving collectibles market, this coin proves that hidden treasures are still out there, sometimes in the most unexpected places. Make sure to check your pocket change, dig through those old coin jars, and maybe even visit a local coin shop. Who knows? You might just have a $1,200 penny sitting unnoticed among your loose change. If you found this video helpful and want more deep dives into rare and valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And tell us in the comments, have you ever found a rare or valuable coin? We would love to hear your story.